My mom and dad cut me and my son off the cruise I sponsored because my golden sibling didn't want our kids to be friends. So as revenge, I kicked everyone off the plane and we went together. Now everyone is begging for forgiveness. Hey Reddit, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Nathan, and I'm 41 years old. I work as a senior data engineer at a Fortune 500 company, where I make a solid six-figure salary with bonuses. I own my house outright, drive a paid-off SUV, and have been financially responsible my entire adult life. This wasn't always the case, though. I grew up poor as hell. We're talking about government assistance and hand-me-down everything. I swore to myself that I would never be broke again, so I busted my ass through community college, transferred to a state school, and clawed my way up the corporate ladder over the years. 15 months ago, my world fell apart when my wife Victoria died in a workplace accident. It was a construction site freak crane malfunction that turned into an absolute nightmare. Victoria was a nurse, the salt of the earth type who called bullshit when she saw it. God, I miss that woman more than words can express. She left me with two incredible kids, Ryan, who's 10 years old, and Lily, who's 8 years old. Now let me introduce you to the villain of our story, my sister Madison. She's 33 years old, and Madison is what happens when someone is born pretty and decides that's going to be their entire career plan. For the past 9 years, she's been an influencer, blogger, and lifestyle guru, which basically translates to taking pictures of her ass in yoga pants and selling detox smoothies to desperate housewives. Her business makes maybe $1,800 a month on good months, but she reports much less than that to the IRS, as you'll learn later. Madison is married to Tyler, and I wish I was making that name up, who's a freelance personal trainer. That's just a fancy way of saying he's an unemployed guy with abs who sells protein powder on Instagram to teenagers. Together, they make about $3,200 a month, yet somehow they live like they're pulling in six figures. How is this possible, you might ask? Well, meet Uncle Nathan, the family ATM. Here's where this story gets completely fucked up. Since Victoria died, I've been hemorrhaging money to keep my family afloat. And I mean hemorrhaging. Every month, I've been paying my parents' mortgage, which runs $1,700. They retired early at 59 because they just assumed I'd take care of them forever. I've been covering Madison's BMW lease at $380 a month because her brand image requires luxury. I pay $1,800 monthly for private school tuition for Madison's twin boys, Blake and Connor, who are both 8 years old. I cover Madison's family grocery bills, which run approximately $450 per month because they eat organic everything, while my own kids get store brand. Then there are the constant emergencies that cost me anywhere from $250 to $600 per month. New iPhones, vacation deposits, medical bills, car repairs, you name it. Want to know the total damage from last year? $52,000. That's more than most people's entire salary, and I've been bleeding it out to support people who treat my kids like invisible furniture. The favoritism in my family is absolutely insane and heartbreaking to witness. Every single family gathering, Blake and Connor get showered with gifts worth $180 to $350 each, while Ryan and Lily are handed $20 Target gift cards like an afterthought. My parents regularly take Madison's kids to the zoo, museums, and special dinners, creating these wonderful memories and experiences. Meanwhile, my children constantly ask me why Grandma and Grandpa don't want to spend time with them. It's soul-crushing to watch your kids wonder what they did wrong to deserve this treatment. When Victoria died, you want to know how much help I received from my loving family? Absolutely zero. Not one single meal was brought to our house. Not one offer to babysit so I could handle funeral arrangements or just have a moment to breathe. Not one person checked to see if we needed anything during the most devastating time of our lives. But Madison, in her infinite wisdom and compassion, actually told me that I was lucky because now I could focus on my career without distractions. She called my children, my grieving motherless children, distractions. But the nuclear bomb that ended everything happened just 4 weeks ago. I had spent $6,500 on a family cruise to the Mediterranean, covering flights, the cruise itself, excursions, specialty dining packages, everything. I was so excited to create some happy memories with my kids, who had been through absolute hell losing their mother. This was going to be our chance to heal together and start building new traditions. 3 days before we were supposed to leave, Madison called me. "Nathan, we need to talk about the cruise," she said in that tone that immediately put me on edge. "What about it?" I asked, though I had a sinking feeling in my stomach. "Well, Tyler and I have been talking, And we think it would be better if this trip was just for the adults and Blake and Connor. You know, since Ryan and Lily are still processing their grief, being around happy families might trigger them. I couldn't speak for a full minute. I literally could not form words. Finally, I managed to ask, "You want me to stay home from the cruise I paid for?" "Not stay home exactly," she said, as if she was being reasonable. "We'll plan something smaller for you and the kids later. Maybe a weekend at a local hotel with a pool or something. But this cruise is really more of an adult experience anyway." I was in complete disbelief. "Madison, there's a kids club on the ship. There are family activities everywhere. I specifically chose this cruise because it was perfect for my children." "Nathan, you're not thinking clearly. You're still grieving and not making good decisions for Ryan and Lily. Trust me, they'll be happier staying home." Then she had the audacity to hang up on me. They went without us. They actually took the vacation I paid for and left my kids behind. Madison posted pictures everywhere, Instagram stories of Blake and Connor snorkeling and swimming with dolphins, having the time of their lives. Meanwhile, my children sat at home eating cereal for dinner because I was too emotionally destroyed to cook. Ryan, who's smart enough to understand that I pay for everything, asked me why Grandma and Grandpa didn't want them to come on the vacation he helped pay for. Lily cried herself to sleep, asking if she had done something wrong to make everyone not want her around. That's when I realized I was done. I wasn't just going to cut them off. I was going to systematically destroy the lifestyle I had built for them and watch them scramble. They wanted to exclude my kids from everything? Fine. Let's see how much they enjoy being excluded from financial stability. So here's my question for all of you. Am I the asshole for planning to completely fuck over my family financially? Because I'm about to rain nuclear hellfire down on these people, and I want to make sure I'm not losing my mind here. Update. Holy shit. Lots of comments in just 3 hours. You guys are just as pissed as I am about this situation. It's time to execute my plan. I'll update you all tomorrow with how it goes. Update number 1, posted the next day. Your comments absolutely gave me life yesterday. I got tons of responses telling me to burn it all down, and there was a special shout out to whoever gave me some ideas I hadn't even considered yet. I spent yesterday evening going through my finances with a microscope, examining 3 years of bank statements, payment apps, credit card bills, and even cash withdrawals. I documented absolutely everything I had given them, including taking photos of all the gifts I had bought for my parents to their grandkids over the years. The total financial support I've provided since Victoria's death? $78,000. That's not a typo, nearly $80,000 down the drain to people who couldn't even pretend to give a shit about my children's well-being. But here's what I also discovered while going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. I have concrete documentation of Madison committing tax fraud. You see, Madison has been claiming her kids' private school tuition as a business expense for her influencer business. She told me she was homeschooling them for content creation, and that the private school was actually business consulting for educational content. It's complete bullshit, obviously, but she's been writing off $21,600 a year in fake business expenses for the past 4 years. I have text messages where she literally brags about her amazing accountant who knows how to work the system. I also have screenshots of her Instagram posts about homeschooling for my brand, while the kids are clearly wearing private school uniforms in other photos. Phase 1. The money stops. Yesterday morning, I systematically canceled everything. I canceled the car insurance on her BMW that I was paying for. I cut off the phone plan for their entire family. I removed myself as an authorized user from the credit card I had been covering. I canceled their grocery delivery subscription, their gym membership, done. Even their Netflix account, bye-bye. Then I called the private school and informed them that I would no longer be paying tuition effective at the end of the current month. They have a 30-day policy for families to bring their accounts current, or the children get withdrawn from the school. After that, I called my parents' mortgage company and removed myself as an authorized payer. They now have to set up their own payment method if they want to keep their house. Phase 2. The evidence package. I spent $180 getting everything professionally printed and organized into a comprehensive package. Bank statements, screenshots, text messages, photos from the cruise. Everything went into a nice binder with tabs and dates, organized like a legal document that could hold up in court. Phase 3. The family meeting. I texted everyone in the family. Family meeting tonight at 7 p.m. at Mom and Dad's house. I have important news to share about our family's future. They probably thought I was going to announce that I was giving them even more money or something equally delusional. The confrontation. I walked into my parents' house that evening, carrying my binder of evidence and my laptop. Everyone was there waiting for me. My parents, Madison, Tyler, and even all the kids, which honestly pissed me off because I didn't want the children to witness what was about to happen. But whatever, it was too late to change the setting now. I started calmly. I wanted to thank everyone for teaching me an important lesson about what family really means. For the past 15 months, I thought family meant supporting each other during the hardest times of our lives. I thought it meant treating all children equally and with love. I thought it meant keeping promises to kids who have already lost their mother. The room went absolutely dead quiet as they started to realize this wasn't going to be the conversation they expected. But you've all shown me that family is actually about financial exploitation and emotional abuse, I continued, opening my laptop and pulling up my meticulously organized spreadsheet. I started reading from it, going through every single payment, every date, every amount I had given them over the past 15 months. Madison's face went from confused to pale to bright red as the numbers kept adding up. $78,000, I announced when I finished. That's what this family has cost me since my wife died. In return, my children were excluded from a vacation they helped pay for and have been treated like second-class citizens in their own family. My dad tried to interrupt me, but I held up my hand firmly. I'm not finished talking yet. I turned to look directly at Blake and Connor. Boys, I want you to understand something important. Every toy you've received, every day you've been able to attend school, every vacation you've been on, Ryan and Lily paid for all of it. Your Uncle Nathan has essentially been your real dad financially because your actual dad doesn't work and contribute to your family. Tyler jumped up from his chair, getting aggressive. Hey, you asshole! Sit down, Tyler. The adults are talking here, I said calmly, not even looking at him. I turned to face my parents directly. Mom, Dad, you've received over $36,000 from me in the past 15 months alone. When's the last time you bought Ryan or Lily a birthday present? When's the last time you offered to babysit them so I could have a break? When's the last time you called them just to talk and see how they're doing? The silence in the room was deafening. Here's what's happening, and this is non-negotiable, I continued. Effective immediately, the Bank of Nathan is permanently closed for business. You have exactly 30 days to figure out how you're going to handle your mortgage payments. Madison, you have until the end of this month to figure out how you're going to pay for tuition, or your kids are getting kicked out of private school. Everyone in this room needs to figure out their own phone bills, car payments, insurance premiums, and grocery money. Madison completely lost her shit and started screaming at me. You can't do this to us! We have contracts! We have commitments that we can't just cancel! Your commitments aren't my problem anymore, Madison. You should have thought about that before you decided my children weren't good enough for your family vacation. I packed up my binder and called Ryan and Lily from the backyard where they had been playing. As we were leaving, Madison was still screaming about how I was ruining innocent children's lives and how Victoria would be ashamed of what I had become. That confrontation happened yesterday, and my phone has been ringing nonstop ever since. Coming up in my next update, Madison's complete meltdown and the beginning of her spectacular downfall. Update number 2, posted 4 days later. Guys, holy shit, the last 84 hours have been absolutely insane. Madison has completely lost her mind, and I'm honestly here for every single second of it. The phone assault. Since Monday night, I've received exactly 97 phone calls. Yes, I counted them all. Along with that, there have been 164 text messages, 26 voicemails, 14 emails, 9 DMs on Instagram, and 5 messages through LinkedIn because she really got that desperate to reach me. Here are some of the highlights from this communication assault. Monday night voicemails. The crying and begging phase. Nathan, please call me back. We need to fix this situation somehow. The kids are asking questions that I don't know how to answer, and I'm sorry, okay? I'm really sorry. Just please don't do this to us. Dad is having chest pains, and Mom thinks you're literally giving him a heart attack with all this stress. Tuesday morning texts. The anger phase. You're a piece of shit, and Victoria would divorce you if she could see what you've become. My kids are crying because their school called and said they might have to leave if we can't pay. Tyler is talking about leaving me because of what you've done to our family's financial situation. I hope you're happy that you're destroying innocent children's lives. Tuesday afternoon calls. The bargaining phase. What if I pay you back? I'll get a real job and pay back every single penny over time. We can work out some kind of payment plan. Just don't let the kids suffer for my mistakes. I'll apologize to Ryan and Lily properly. I'll make everything right with them. Wednesday. The desperation phase. The BMW got repossessed this morning, and my neighbors saw everything happen. Tyler left me. He took his clothes and said he's done living in poverty. I have exactly $41 in my bank account, and the kids need lunch money for school. Please just answer your phone. We can figure this out together. The best part. Thursday morning, Madison actually showed up at my office. At my workplace. Security called me and said there was a hysterical woman in the lobby claiming to be my sister and demanding to see me immediately. I went down to the lobby and found Madison wearing the same clothes from yesterday, with her hair a complete mess and her makeup running down her face. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "Nathan, please just give me 5 minutes," she begged. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet with her in the lobby cafe, though I made sure we stayed in a public area. "Nathan, I fucked up. I know I fucked up badly, but you can't destroy my whole life over one mistake." "One mistake, Madison? You've been treating my kids like shit for over a year." I was wrong about the cruise situation. I panicked because Blake gets carsick, and I thought being on a boat might... Stop lying to me. You didn't want my kids there because you thought they'd ruin your Instagram content and your perfect family photos. She started crying again, harder this time. Okay, fine, I wanted good pictures for my social media, but that doesn't mean you should destroy my entire life over it. Your life was built entirely on my money, Madison. I just took my money back. Tyler left me. Do you understand that? My husband left me because of what you did. Tyler left you because you can't afford your lifestyle without my money funding it. That's not my problem to solve. The twins are asking why they can't go to school anymore. What am I supposed to tell them? Tell them the truth for once. Tell them that Uncle Nathan was paying for their school and you took it for granted. I'll do anything. I'll get a real job. I'll apologize to everyone. I'll make this right. Madison, you called my children distractions when their mother had just died. You excluded them from a cruise they helped pay for. You treated them like they were worthless for over a year. There's no coming back from that level of cruelty. She actually grabbed my arm at that point. Please, I'm begging you, I'll lose everything I have. Good, I said simply and walked away, leaving her crying in the lobby. The ripple effects. The consequences of cutting off the money have been swift and devastating for everyone involved. Blake and Connor got pulled from their private school at the end of the month, and they're now enrolled in the same public school that Ryan and Lily attend. It's actually a pretty good school, but Madison is acting like I've sentenced her children to prison. She's been posting dramatic social media content about how her kids are being punished for adult decisions. Madison had to move back in with our parents because she can't afford to pay rent on her own. Tyler is apparently taking a break from their marriage and staying with his gym buddy while he figures out what he wants to do. My parents are completely panicking about their mortgage situation, and my dad actually applied for a part-time job at Target because they're desperate for income. In a move that shows just how delusional Madison really is, she started a GoFundMe campaign titled "Single Mom Needs Help After Family Betrayal." In the 4 days it's been up, it's raised a whopping $67. The description is absolutely unhinged. She's painting herself as a victim of family financial abuse and claiming that her children are suffering because of my cruel abandonment. The kids' perspective. Ryan asked me yesterday, "Dad, are Blake and Connor going to be going to our school now?" "Looks like it, buddy," I told him. "That's cool. Maybe now they'll understand what it's like to be normal kids instead of thinking they're better than everyone else." Smart kid, he gets it. Coming up in my next update, the tax fraud investigation begins, and Madison's life gets so much worse. Update number 3, posted 1 week later. Remember that tax fraud evidence I mentioned having on Madison? Well, I decided it was time to gift that information to the IRS. The tax bomb. Thursday morning, I called the IRS fraud hotline and submitted a formal report with all of my meticulously organized documentation. I provided them with screenshots of Madison claiming $48,600 in fake business expenses over the past 4 years, text messages where she literally brags about working the system, and clear evidence that her kids were attending private school while she was claiming homeschooling deductions on her taxes. The IRS agent I spoke with seemed very interested in the case, especially when I mentioned the substantial dollar amounts involved and the comprehensive documentation I had gathered. Madison's worst week ever. Since my last update, Madison's life has become what I can only describe as a beautiful disaster, and I'm documenting every moment of it. Monday. Her GoFundMe got reported and taken down for misleading information. It might have been me who reported it, or it might have been one of you savage commenters who decided to take action. Tuesday. Her landlord served her with an eviction notice for her apartment. Turns out I was paying $550 a month toward her $1,450 monthly rent, and she can't cover the full amount on her own. Wednesday, an IRS investigation letter arrived at her address, asking for detailed financial records. She called me screaming about how I had called the government on her. Thursday, Tyler officially filed for separation and is demanding temporary custody of the twins because she's financially unstable and can't provide for them properly. Friday, her Instagram account got suspended for violating terms of service regarding fake business claims. Again, it might have been mass reported by unknown parties who were disgusted by her behavior. The Friday night meltdown. Madison showed up at my house Friday night at 9:30 p.m., clearly drunk and completely unhinged. Thank God I have security cameras that caught the entire interaction. She was pounding on my front door and screaming, "Nathan, open this door right now!" I opened it, but kept the chain lock engaged for safety. "What do you want, Madison?" "You ruined my fucking life! You called the IRS on me, and now Tyler's trying to take my kids away!" "You ruined your own life, Madison. I just stopped paying for it." The twins are asking why we have to live with Grandma now. They're asking why Daddy doesn't live with us anymore. Tell them the truth for once. Tell them Mommy committed tax fraud and Daddy married a gold digger. She tried to force her way into my house at that point. "Let me in! We need to fix this situation!" There's nothing to fix. You made your choices and now you're living with the consequences. "I'll do anything. I'll pay you back. I'll get a better job. Just please help me." Madison, you're 33 years old. You should have had a real job about 16 years ago. "Please, I'm desperate. The IRS is investigating everything I've ever filed." Sounds like a you problem to me. That's when she really lost it and said something unforgivable. Victoria would hate what you've become. She'd be disgusted by you using her death to control everyone. I started to close the door, but she jammed her foot in it to prevent me from shutting her out. "Move your foot or I'm calling the police right now." "Call them! Tell them how you're destroying your own family!" I dialed 911 right there while she was still screaming. She finally left when she heard me giving the dispatcher my address. The Saturday morning reality check. Saturday morning, I got an unexpected phone call from Tyler that completely changed my perspective on him. "Nathan, I need to thank you for something," he said. "For what?" I asked, genuinely confused. "For opening my eyes to what I actually married. I've been living in a complete fantasy world that was funded entirely by your money." He continued, "Madison's been lying to me about absolutely everything. Our finances, your family dynamics, even her actual business income. I thought she was making decent money with her Instagram influencer work because she always seemed to have cash for shopping trips and spa days. I had no idea that you were funding her entire lifestyle. What finally changed your mind about everything?" I asked. When the money stopped flowing, I saw who she really was underneath it all. She had a complete mental breakdown when she realized she'd actually have to get a real job. She told me she'd rather divorce me than work in an office environment. That's when I knew I had married someone I didn't really know at all. Tyler explained that he's filing for custody of the twins because Madison literally cannot afford to take care of them properly anymore. Without my financial support, she can't even provide basic necessities for the boys. My parents' wake-up call. My dad started his new job at Target this week. Picture this: a 68-year-old man wearing a red shirt and greeting customers for $14 an hour because he and my mom retired early, expecting me to fund their entire retirement. My mom called me crying about the situation. "Nathan, your father is completely humiliated by this job." The neighbors see him working at Target and keep asking us questions about why he's working retail at his age. "Maybe you should have thought about that before you enabled Madison's financial abuse of me for over a year," I replied. "We didn't know you felt taken advantage of by the family situation." "You didn't know? Really? You didn't notice that I was paying for literally everything while Madison contributed absolutely nothing to the family?" The line went completely silent. She had no response because she knew I was right. Coming up in my next update, the IRS investigation progresses, and Madison makes one final desperate attempt to destroy me. Update number 4. Posted 7 weeks later. Holy shit, the IRS doesn't mess around when you hand them a gift-wrapped case with a bow on top. The audit results. The IRS has been conducting their investigation for 7 weeks now, and they've already determined that Madison owes $31,000 in back taxes, penalties, and interest from all those fake business deductions she claimed. But they're also looking into whether she significantly underreported her actual influencer income over the years. But wait, it gets so much better. They also audited her business records and determined that she owes another $9,000 because her Instagram income was actually higher than what she reported to them. Turns out she was hiding cash payments from sponsors and not reporting them as taxable income. The preliminary IRS bill stands at $40,000 for someone who currently has $41 in her bank account. Madison's criminal mastermind plan. This is where Madison proved that she's not just entitled and lazy, but also stupid as fuck. She decided that her best strategy was to try to frame me for financial abuse. She actually filed a police report claiming that I had been financially controlling her and withholding money that legally belonged to her children. The officer who took her report called me Thursday morning. "This is Officer Johnson. Mr. Thompson, I need to ask you some questions about a financial dispute with your sister." "What kind of dispute are we talking about?" I asked. "She's claiming that you've been withholding money that belongs to her children and that you've put them in financial jeopardy." I actually started laughing, literally laughing out loud. "Officer, I have detailed documentation of every single penny I've given my family for the past 3 years. Would you like to see all of it?" I showed up at the police station with my comprehensive binder of evidence, bank statements, payment records, text messages, and photos of receipts. The officer spent a full hour going through everything I had organized. "So let me get this straight," the officer said. "You voluntarily gave your family $78,000 over 15 months, and now you've decided to stop giving them money?" "That's absolutely correct." "And your sister thinks you're legally obligated to continue paying for her lifestyle indefinitely?" "Apparently so." "Sir, this isn't a criminal matter at all. This is just family drama. You have zero legal obligation to support your adult sister financially." The case was closed immediately. But here's the thing. Filing a false police report is actually a crime in itself. The social media nuclear bomb. Madison decided that her next brilliant strategy was to expose me on social media and try to turn public opinion against me. She posted a massive 52-slide Instagram story about how I was financially abusing her family and destroying innocent children's lives. She included screenshots of our private text conversations, where she looks absolutely psychotic, photos of Blake and Connor crying about having to leave their private school, a video of herself crying about being abandoned by family, and wild claims that I was withholding money that legally belonged to her children. The internet is undefeated. Within just 7 hours of her posting this sob story, people on the internet had done what they do best. They found screenshots of her old posts showing off her BMW, designer handbags, expensive vacations, and luxury lifestyle. They compared these images to her new victim narrative posts, and the contrast was absolutely devastating. Someone made a TikTok compilation titled "When the Family ATM Breaks" that got 2.8 million views in less than 24 hours. Someone else managed to find her old posts where she had called my kids exhausting and said that I was lucky to be a widower because it meant fewer distractions from my career. She got absolutely destroyed in the comments section. People were calling her a gold digger, a terrible mother, and much worse. The backlash was so intense that she ended up deleting her entire Instagram account, which was supposedly her main source of income. Tyler's revelation. Tyler called me Saturday with some particularly interesting information that I wasn't expecting. "Nathan, I found something while I was packing up my stuff from the apartment," he said. "What did you find?" "Madison has been lying about way more than just money. She's been cheating on me." I wasn't even surprised at this point. "How did you find out?" "I found hotel receipts and text messages going back almost a full year. She was using your money to pay for hotel rooms so she could fuck some guy she met at a yoga class." The audacity was unbelievable, but somehow completely predictable. "Tyler, I'm going for full custody of the boys," he continued. "I've got evidence of the affair, the tax fraud, the financial irresponsibility, everything. My lawyer says it's a very strong case, though these custody things always take time to work through the system." My parents' final humiliation. The foreclosure notice arrived at my parents' house on Wednesday. They have exactly 100 days to bring their mortgage current, or they'll lose the house entirely. My dad worked 38 hours at Target last week and made $532 before taxes. Their monthly mortgage payment is $1,700. Even with my mom's part-time job at a craft store making $12 an hour, together, they're only bringing in about $1,500 per month total. They're finally understanding that their early retirement was a luxury they couldn't afford without my money subsidizing their lifestyle. My mom called me crying again. "Nathan, we're going to lose everything we've worked for. You've known this was coming for weeks now. What have you actually done to try to fix the situation? Your father has applied for jobs, but no one wants to hire someone his age for anything that pays decent money. Maybe you should consider selling the house and finding something you can actually afford on your own. This is our dream home, Nathan. Dreams cost money, Mom, Your dream was funded by my grief and my children's suffering. Coming up in my next update, Madison's desperate final gambit and the ultimate karma that's heading her way. Update number 5, posted 9 weeks later. You're absolutely not going to believe what this psychotic bitch tried to pull next. The school incident. Last Saturday, Madison tried to pick up Ryan and Lily from school without my permission. The school called me at 2:45 p.m. while I was at home. Mr. Thompson, your sister is here trying to pick up your children, but she's not on the authorized pickup list. My blood went completely cold. Don't let her take them under any circumstances. I'll be right there. When I arrived at the school, I found Madison in a heated argument with the principal, while Ryan and Lily stood nearby looking absolutely terrified by the whole situation. Madison, these are my nephews. I'm family, she was saying to the principal. Ma'am, only authorized guardians can pick up students from this school, the principal replied firmly. What the hell are you doing here, Madison? I demanded. We need to talk and you won't answer any of my calls, so I thought... So you thought you'd involve my children in this mess? They're my family too, Nathan. The principal stepped in at that point. Mrs. Davis, you need to leave school property immediately, or we'll have to call the police. Ryan grabbed my hand tightly. Dad, I told her we're not supposed to go with her, but she said you told her it was okay. Madison had lied to my kids and tried to manipulate them into going with her. I called the police right there at the school. They escorted her off the property, and I filed for a restraining order that same afternoon. The restraining order hearing. 3 weeks later, we went to court for the restraining order hearing. I brought my security camera footage of her drunk rampage at my house, complete documentation of her attempting to manipulate my children, and witness statements from the school staff. Madison showed up wearing a wrinkled dress with her hair unwashed, representing herself because she can't afford to hire a lawyer. The judge took one look at all the evidence I had compiled and granted a temporary restraining order without hesitation. Madison has to stay 100 yards away from me, my kids, my house, my workplace, and their school at all times. When the judge announced his decision, Madison completely lost her mind and started screaming in the courtroom. This is absolutely insane. He's the one who destroyed my family. He called the IRS on me and he's ruining innocent children's lives. Ma'am, control yourself immediately or you'll be held in contempt of court, the judge warned. He turned my own husband against me. He made my kids homeless. Security had to physically remove her from the courtroom while she was still screaming. The IRS investigation continues. 4 months into the IRS investigation, it's still ongoing, but they've already determined the $40,000 in back taxes and penalties that Madison owes. Now they're looking into whether this rises to the level of criminal prosecution, which could mean serious jail time. An IRS investigator called me recently. Mr. Thompson, your documentation made this case very straightforward for us. We're still determining whether to pursue criminal charges, but the civil penalties are already firmly established. The investigator told me that if they do decide to pursue criminal charges, Madison could face significant fines and potential imprisonment. Tyler's custody battle. Tyler got temporary custody of the twins after a month-long legal process. The judge cited Madison's financial instability, the ongoing IRS tax fraud investigation, her unstable living situation, and her inappropriate behavior involving other family members' children. Blake and Connor are now living with Tyler in his new apartment. He managed to get a full-time job at a physical therapy clinic and is actually stepping up as a real father for the first time. Tyler texted me recently. The boys are asking about Ryan and Lily. They want to have a play date sometime. I told them their mom made some really bad choices and you're protecting your family. But they're still cousins, and that relationship won't change. I have to respect that Tyler is trying to keep the kids' relationships intact, despite their mother being an absolute psychopath. Madison's living situation. With Tyler having custody of the kids and my parents facing foreclosure on their house, Madison is essentially homeless at this point. She's been staying at different friends' houses, but no one really wants a broke, unemployed woman with serious tax problems hanging over her head for an extended period. She finally managed to get a job as a server at a chain restaurant. After taxes and tips, she's making about $380 a week. To put that in perspective, her weekly Starbucks budget used to be $75 when I was funding her lifestyle. My parents' foreclosure. My parents couldn't make their mortgage payment, and the bank is moving forward with the foreclosure process. They now have 70 days to vacate the house they thought they'd retire in. My dad's been working at Target, but at 68 years old with no real marketable skills, his employment options are extremely limited. My mom's been desperately trying to sell her jewelry and furniture to raise cash, but it's nowhere near enough. They finally found a small 2-bedroom apartment across town for $850 a month. It's in a complex that's definitely not the dream retirement they had envisioned for themselves. The restraining order violation. Monday of this week, Madison violated the restraining order by showing up at Ryan's soccer game. She stood behind the fence screaming that I was keeping her from her family and that the other parents should know that I'm financially abusing my relatives. Other parents started filming her complete meltdown with their phones. Someone posted the video on the local Facebook mom groups with the caption, "Unhinged woman screaming at children's soccer game." It's gone viral in our town, and everyone now knows Madison as the crazy lady who had a public breakdown at a kid's sporting event. The police arrested her for violating the restraining order, and she spent the entire weekend in jail because she couldn't make the $450 bail. Coming up in my next update, the final chapter where everything comes crashing down completely, and the begging reaches absolutely epic proportions. Final update, posted 7 months later. It's been 7 months since I cut off my family financially, and I'm ready to tell you how this nuclear war finally ended. Spoiler alert, I didn't just win this battle, I completely and utterly annihilated them. Madison's federal case resolution. The IRS criminal investigation concluded last month, and Madison ended up taking a plea deal to avoid prison time. She received 20 months of federal probation, $42,000 in fines and back taxes, which she obviously cannot pay, 180 hours of community service, and now has a permanent criminal record on her background checks. Her tax debt will follow her for the rest of her life. The IRS can garnish any future wages she earns, seize any assets she acquires, and take any tax refunds she might be entitled to forever. The custody resolution. After a 5-month legal battle, Tyler got permanent primary custody of the twins. The judge's ruling was absolutely brutal in its assessment of Madison. The mother has demonstrated financial irresponsibility, criminal behavior, emotional instability, and has attempted to inappropriately involve minor children in adult family conflicts. She poses a clear risk to the children's emotional and financial well-being. Madison gets supervised visitation every other Saturday for exactly 4 hours at a state facility with a social worker present to monitor the interactions. Blake and Connor are absolutely thriving with Tyler. They're attending the same school as Ryan and Lily now, and the 4 cousins have actually become close friends. Tyler brings them to Ryan's soccer games and Lily's dance recitals, and it's been wonderful to see the kids maintain their relationships despite everything. My parents' complete collapse. My parents lost their house to foreclosure 4 months ago, and all of their equity just vanished into thin air. They moved into a shitty 2-bedroom apartment in the absolute worst part of town. My dad is still working at Target at 68 years old, greeting customers for $14 an hour, while my mom got a part-time job at a craft store making $12 an hour. Together, they're bringing in about $1,500 per month total. Their early retirement dream turned into a complete nightmare of working retail jobs in their late 60s just to survive. The begging campaign. About 3 months ago, the desperation from my family reached absolutely peak levels. Text messages from Madison, sent from a burner phone since I had blocked her original number. "Nathan, please, I'm sorry. I know I fucked up everything, but I can't live like this anymore. I'll do anything, just please help me. I'm living in a studio apartment above a nail salon. I'll pay you back, I swear on everything. I'll get a better job and pay back every single penny. Please don't let me end up on the streets. I'm scared and alone." Voicemails from my mom. "Nathan, your father is talking about suicide. He can't handle working at Target anymore at his age. Please, we need help. We'll do anything you want. We'll apologize to Ryan and Lily properly. We'll treat them better. Just please help us. I haven't eaten in 3 days because we spent our food money on rent. Please, son. We're desperate." An email from my dad, sent from the Target break room during his shift. "Nathan, I was wrong about everything. I was a terrible father and grandfather. I let Madison manipulate us into treating your kids badly, and I'm ashamed of what I became. Please give me a chance to make it right with Ryan and Lily. I don't care about money anymore. I just want my family back." The face-to-face begging. Last month, they all showed up at my house together. Madison, my parents, and even Tyler with the twins. I watched through my security cameras as they stood on my porch looking like refugees from their former lives. I opened the door, but didn't invite them inside. Madison spoke first, and she looked like she had aged 15 years in just a few months. She had hollow cheeks, gray skin, and was wearing clothes that were obviously from Goodwill. "Nathan, I fucked up. I fucked up everything in my life. I was entitled and selfish, and I treated Ryan and Lily like shit. I'm sorry." My mom chimed in, "We all failed as a family. We're so sorry." My dad added, I'll work until I die to make this right. Just please forgive us. Madison continued. I'll sign over my parental rights completely. I'll disappear from everyone's lives. Just please help my parents. They don't deserve this because of my mistakes. For just a moment, I almost felt bad for them. Almost. You want forgiveness? I asked them. Here's what you destroyed. I pulled out my phone and showed them a video from the previous weekend. Ryan scoring a goal at his soccer game while Lily cheered enthusiastically from the sidelines. Both kids were laughing and genuinely happy. See how happy they are? That's because the toxic people who made them feel worthless are completely gone from their lives. Madison started crying harder. Please, I'll do anything you ask. You already did everything, Madison. You showed me exactly who you really are. I pointed directly at Blake and Connor. Boys, your mom treated Ryan and Lily very badly for a long time and excluded them from family activities. Do you think that was okay? Both boys shook their heads. Blake said, No, Uncle Nathan, that was really mean. That's right, it was mean. And mean people have to face consequences for their actions. My final terms. I looked at all of them standing there on my porch and delivered my final verdict. Here's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to leave my property right now and never contact me again. Madison, you're going to focus on getting your life together so that maybe someday you can be a real mother to those boys. Mom and Dad, you're going to figure out how to survive on your own like the adults you're supposed to be. We'll starve without your help, my mother pleaded. You should have thought about that before you treated my children like garbage for over a year. Nathan, please, Madison started. No. You had 15 months to be decent grandparents and a caring aunt. You chose Madison's lifestyle over my kids' emotional well-being. Now you get to live with that choice permanently. I went back inside my house and locked the door behind me. They stood there on my porch for another 15 minutes before finally leaving and accepting that it was truly over. Where we are now, Ryan and Lily are absolutely thriving in ways I never imagined possible. They're confident, happy kids who no longer ask me why Grandma and Grandpa don't love them. We've built our own family traditions with people who actually care about us and treat us with respect. I've been dating someone new. Melissa, who's a teacher at their school. She lost her husband to cancer 3 years ago, so she understands grief and the process of rebuilding your life. She has a daughter who's Lily's age, and the 3 girls have become completely inseparable. Melissa understands what we've been through, and she treats Ryan and Lily like they're her own children. We're planning a Disney trip for spring break, all 5 of us together as our new blended family. Madison is working as a server at Applebee's and living in that studio apartment above a nail salon. She's lost 35 pounds and looks like she's aged a full decade in less than a year. The twins visit her every other Saturday for exactly 4 hours under strict supervision. My parents are still working their retail jobs and living in poverty. My dad's diabetes is getting worse from all the stress, and my mom has developed anxiety attacks that require medication she can barely afford. Tyler has become a genuinely good father and is building a stable, healthy life for the boys. He's dating someone new, a nurse who's fantastic with kids and treats Blake and Connor wonderfully. The final lesson. Some of you reading this might think that I went too far, that I was unnecessarily cruel to completely destroy their lives over what you might see as just family drama. But here's what you need to understand. They didn't just exclude my kids from a vacation. They spent 15 consecutive months showing my children that they were worthless human beings. They took my money while simultaneously making Ryan and Lily feel like burdens on the family. My kids had already lost their mother. They didn't deserve to lose their extended family too. But my relatives made that choice when they decided that luxury and Instagram-worthy experiences were more important than love and basic human decency. I sleep perfectly at night knowing that Ryan and Lily will never again have to wonder why they're not good enough for their own family. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's building a better life without the people who tried to destroy you. Final update. Madison texted me yesterday from yet another new number. I hope you're happy that you destroyed everything. I texted back, I am happy, thanks for asking. Edit. For everyone asking about future updates, this is really the end of the story. They're all permanently blocked on everything. Tyler and I co-parent the cousin relationships between the kids, but the toxic adults are permanently out of our lives. Sometimes the best ending is simply peace. Edit 2. To everyone saying I should have helped my parents, they made their choice when they enabled Madison's abuse of my children for 15 months straight. Consequences don't have an expiration date. Edit 3. Someone asked what happened to Madison's affair partner. Turns out he ghosted her the second the money dried up and the tax investigation started. Shocking, I know.